Howdy, hi there, friends and neighbors. This is Bill, and you're watching Bill's Box of Sound. And this video today is a review of the latest release by the Zappa Trust and Zappa Records. It's Frank Zappa, of course, and it is Erie. Yes, that's the name of it. It is a 6 CD set. Look at this. 3 CDs here, boink, 3 CDs there, of 3 complete shows of the Mothers of Invention between 1974 and 1976. And this is going to be a big one, folks, so I'm going to try and do this completely. I've been listening. I've been taking notes. I've been researching unauthorized tapes. I've been researching authorized releases. I've been doing a bunch of stuff because this is one for the record books, folks. This is really good stuff. So let's just start with the package here. Boom. It looks like an album, just a little bit smaller. It will fit in your album shelves. You know, you just put it right here, back here. Looks wonderful. But the important thing is the music. We're going to talk about the music first, and then we're going to talk about the price of it later, because a lot of people have complained about the price of this package. I'm going to talk about that. But first of all, we're going to talk about the music, okay? There are 3 shows, all in the area of Erie, Pennsylvania, okay? Which is coincidentally the hometown of the Vaultmeister, Joe Travers, the guy who pretty much is in charge of putting together the archival releases of the Zappa family, the Zappa Trust. And for those of you who use these words on a regular basis, it's not Zappa Family Trust or the ZFT anymore. Some time ago, it was reorganized, and it's now called the Zappa Trust, or the ZT for short. So just bookmark that. There will be a quiz later. Anyway, during the pandemic years, Joe, the Vaultmeister, was going through and started noticing tapes from his hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania. And it was during the pandemic that he had enough time to really dig ultra deep and find all these shows and put together this wonderful package. So a big kudos to him and the wonderful work that he's done, as well as the team of, let's do this properly, look this up. Of course, Amit Zappa, the guy in charge at the Zappa Trust, and Craig Parker Adams for remixing these 4-track tapes. All of these concerts were done with the same 4-track recorder that Frank took around to the gigs. And also mastering and audio restoration by John Polito. And the crack art team at Fan Tunes, who did the artwork inside of here. So 3 shows. Let's talk about that first show. The first show centers on May 8th, 1974 in Edinburgh. And as stated on another Zappa release that you all know and love, Roxy and Elsewhere, it was done at the Edinburgh State College, Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, which is very, very close to Erie. Okay? Now, this show is 10-piece band, 9 pieces including Frank. You've got in this performance George Duke on keyboard, synthesizer, and vocals, Tom Fowler on bass, Bruce Fowler on trombone, Walt Fowler on trumpet, Jeff Simmons on guitar and vocals and harmonica, Don Preston on synthesizer and farfisa, Napoleon Murphy Brock on tenor sax, flute, and lead vocals, Ralph Humphrey and Chester Thompson on drums and percussion. And of course, Frank Zappa on guitar and vocals. Now, there's no Ruth Underwood in this band, or else it would have been a whole 11 pieces up on that stage. Ruth was not available for this show, but this show turned out to be wonderful. And you may want to, no, not you may want to, you definitely want to check out the Zappa cast, the Frank Zappa podcast, put together by Scott Parker and Phil Circus, and starring Joe Travers, talking about putting together this wonderful box. If you are podcast friendly, seek out the episode about this. It's the most recent one as I record this. They talk a lot about this. And a big point that was made is that there's always a lot of emphasis made on shows recorded in like New York or Chicago or LA, but Erie, Pennsylvania, that was not one of the more popular places. So the band's kind of like, not on their guard, but they're more prone to have a good time and hone their craft. And that's one of the things that makes this show and this entire set so great, is that they were concentrating on playing and having a good time at the same time. And this band, just unbelievable. You got a lovely blues-tinged Cosmic Debris that goes into this show, going into Pygmy Twilight, going into Idiot Bastard Son, going into an early version of Cheapness. And then we've got a wonderful 15-minute version of Inca Roads. An early arrangement without as much percussion because Ruth Underwood wasn't there. But there's an emphasis on both of the drummers, Chester and Ralph, playing the rims of their drums and the cowbells on their drum sets. And it gives Inca Roads a real different flavor. And the guitar sounds that Frank's putting forth in here, wonderful solo on this. And then, of course, George Duke soloing on that. And after that, you go into a version of Montana. And then we go into Dupree's Paradise at the end of the first disc. And the intro to Dupree's Paradise is 15 minutes. At the beginning of the disc 2, the entire regular Dupree's Paradise is another 22 minutes. That's about a half an hour of Dupree's Paradise, with all sorts of great improvisations and ventures into music. And during the intro to Dupree's Paradise, Frank and the band quote not only Edgar Varèse's Octandra, but also Wagner's Lohengrin. And they go into that. Going to the second half of this concert, after Dupree's Paradise, Frank announces that everybody's asking for old songs. We're going to play some old songs. So they go into a medley of stuff from Freak Out and Weasels At My Flesh and Burnt Weenie Sandwich. And they go into a medley of It Can't Happen Here, Hungry Freaks Daddy, You're Probably Wondering Why I'm Here, How Could I Be Such a Fool, Ain't Got No Heart, I'm Not Satisfied, Wowie Zowie, Let's Make the Water Turn Back, and Harry, You're a Beast, the Orange County Lumber Truck, and Oh No. And the tempos and the attitude and the eyebrows that this band puts on the music, it's just staggering. Fun, 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 awesome versions of these songs, just giving them a whole new character. It's wonderful. And then comes about 20 minutes of what was partially displayed on Roxy and elsewhere. We're talking about Son of Orange County and More Trouble Every Day. Now, a lot of the performances of this were ended up on Roxy and elsewhere, but only about 10 minutes of it. You will recognize most of the performances of these two tracks, Son of Orange County and More Trouble Every Day, as the versions that appeared on Roxy and elsewhere. But there are also parts of mostly Son of Orange County, that I believe were sandwiched in from a Chicago show that was also on the 10th anniversary tour and also recorded on 4-track. But what was 11 minutes turns into about 20 minutes of music, mostly due to Frank's unbelievable guitar solos. I mean, if you've listened to Roxy and Elsewhere, as I have since 1974, and you know these solos backwards and forwards, you can sing all of these guitar solos. Well, we're about to expand those guitar solos by double. And the first time I was listening to this, I was just shouting at the speakers, "Come on, Frank, go, go, go." I was just loving this and enjoying this. And it just expands your enjoyment of the whole experience, because the band is just stretching out, and so is Frank. And finishes the concert out with a version of Camarillo Brillo. Okay, and this concert kind of like stretches into the third disc a little bit, with the same band doing another version of Montana, and improvisation called Get Down, where George Duke, Napoleon Murphy Brock, and the whole band just gets down. They get funky. And there's a part where Jeff Simmons takes over the band momentarily and does his Frank Zappa impression. It's really funny. But yeah, there's a part where they go into kind of like a lounge music thing, and Jeff Simmons starts playing some bebop guitar, and during the one Dupree's Paradise thing. That is the first concert from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, May 8th, 1974. Now let's go to the second show in this 6-disc set. Now this next show, which took place in Erie, Pennsylvania, on November 12th, 1974, is a stripped-down band with 6 pieces. And at the beginning of it, oh, here it is. At the beginning of the show, Frank explains he's sick with the flu. Okay? This show has George Duke on keyboards, Tom Fowler on bass, Ruth Underwood, the wonderful Ruth Underwood on percussion, Napoleon Murphy Brock again on tenor sax, flute, and lead vocals, and just one drummer, Chester Thompson, on drums and percussion. So, don't let that reduce your expectations of this band. With Frank not feeling well, the band is firing on all cylinders and doing some great stuff. They go into Stinkfoot. And how long is this version of Stinkfoot? 7.5 minutes. Goes into Redunzel. Amazing version of Redunzel. And George Duke's piano solo in the second half of this song. It's an odd meter, but it's even odder than usual. I mean, you're used to in Inca Roads, there's a electric piano solo in 7/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the solo that's in Redunzel by George, it's kind of like in 8, but there's something a little extra added on. There's like an 8th note added after the 8th beat. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like, if you break it down, it's kind of like in 17/8. But it still rolls, it's still enjoyable, it's still magnificent. So check that out in Redunzel. Then we go to Village of the Sun, a very fast version of that with the really cool intro that you don't usually hear of Village of the Sun. And then we go into real fast versions of Echidna's Arf and Don't You Ever Wash That Thing. Popular from Roxy and Elsewhere, but a completely different version on this one. And in Frank's guitar solo on Don't You Ever Wash That Thing, he's doing something with the envelope filter, which is, for those of you who are not deeply into musical instruments, it's like an automatic wah-wah that the wah-wah is dependent upon how loud you are playing on your instrument. But then Frank delves into it even deeper, and those of you who are into old analog synthesizers will be into this. The resonance on the filter is cranked up a bit, so it's like almost oscillating, but not quite. And Frank is playing in a percussive way on this so that it sounds almost like an analog synthesizer with percussion, and then there's distortion on top of that that's making it even better. And of course, you've got Frank Zappa playing the guitar, so the notes themselves add to the entire tapestry of this solo and makes it that much more magnificent. So then we go into a version of Penguin in Bondage where they don't have the duck call. But instead, since they can't find the duck call, they got a goose call. You know, you got to have the right accoutrements to put the eyebrows on the music, or else it just loses it. But it's hilarious when that happens. Then we go into Tamershi Dween, the Dog Breath Variations, Uncle Meat, and then Building a Girl, which you got to imagine Frank is conducting the band, pointing towards people, making them do stuff. And then a version of Dynamo Hum. And then on the CD number 4, they go into a version of I'm Not Satisfied, which really, it's not a complete version of the song because the audience is so unruly, Frank has to discipline them some more. And then we go into another great version of Montana, about 10 minutes long. And then the intro to Dupree's Paradise and another Dupree's Paradise, but completely different than the version that was in the previous show. Okay? First version has George going off into his little thing where he plays with his cymbals, his finger cymbals, and then he starts building this story about this creature or woman or whatever it is, and going on with that. And then in the actual Dupree's Paradise, which is about 17 minutes and change, Napoleon Murphy Brock's sax solo is also going through an envelope follower, but then that's going through an echo, adding another dimension to the way that that solo is going. It's great stuff. And then there's a bass solo with Tom Fowler going back and forth with Chester Thompson on drums, and then Chester Thompson solo by itself, feeling that out, and a 13-minute and 25-second version of Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, the entire suite. And then ending that concert, Oh No, Son of Orange County, and More Trouble Every Day. And Frank introduces it as something that was recorded at Edinburgh and is on the most recent album, which at that time was Roxy and Elsewhere. So that ends that concert. So now we're going to go to the next show and the last show in this package. The last show in this package is from Erie, Pennsylvania, November 12th again, but 2 years later in 1976. And this was kind of a stripped down band as well. Let me pull that up. Here we go. This was, of course, Frank on guitar and vocals, Lady Bianca on keyboards and vocals, Ray White on guitar and vocals, Eddie Jobson, ex of Curved Air, and in the future to be of UK, on keyboards and violin, Patrick O'Hearn on bass and vocals, and Terry Bozzio on drums and vocals. Once again, a 6-piece, 5 musicians and Frank, and kind of a stripped down performance, but still, because Frank, he plays guitar, he does vocals, but his number one instrument is his band and the way that he takes this band and does things with it. This show is sandwiched by parts of the Purple Lagoon at the beginning and at the end. And then they go into Stinkfoot, where they have audience participation. And they go into the Poodle Lecture, of course, and Dirty Love, as it did back in that time. And then they go into stuff from Zoot Allures. You got Wind Up Working in a Gas Station and Trying to Grow a Chin, which would later be on Shake Your Booty, or Shake Your Booty, as some people say. And a great version of The Torture Never Stops. That goes into a version of City of Tiny Lights, which is not from Erie, Pennsylvania, due to problems with the performance and other reasons. The version of City of Tiny Lights, which was at this point, is replaced with a version that was recorded from Toledo the day after that, Toledo, Ohio. And then we have Pound for a Brown and a version of You Didn't Try to Call Me with Lady Bianca on lead vocals. And a lot of people shortchange Lady Bianca, but she really gives this song a different slant, and I do enjoy it. Then we go into Rudy Wants to Buy You a Drink and Would You Go All the Way from the Chunga's Revenge album, with some really good performances on that from Erie. Now it's time for the last CD, number 6, from the November 13th, 1976 show. We've got an 18-minute version of Black Napkins. And, of course, it starts with Frank laying down the head of the tune. And then we go into a Bianca vocal solo. And what really blows me away about this particular Lady Bianca performance is she starts going into some high notes, and then she starts doing some things that are close to Tuvan throat singing and ring modulation being put into your vocals. She starts messing with her voice way up in the high register, which almost produces 2 tones at the same time. You got to hear it to believe it. It's great. And then Eddie Jobson gets to whip out the violin and make a beautiful solo. And then Frank puts in a solo. A quick note, back to this other show where Frank was sick, he's still pulling some unbelievable solos out of the air, even though he doesn't feel well. And then back to this solo on Black Napkins, he starts out tender and soft and then goes full volcano on our asses and starts really laying into the loud, nasty, satanic riffs later on. And it's fantastic. Then we do have a solo by Terry Bozzio, a solo by Patrick O'Hearn, and then some more fun tunes. We've got Wonderful Wino. We've got, and that was the kind of the end of the show. And then we go into the encore things because we've got a little Purple Lagoon. And then we go into Stranded in the Jungle. Yes, that old tune. And then a version of Dynamo Hum. Then another Purple Lagoon. And then Muffin Man, always a crowd favorite. Then another Purple Lagoon. And then we have another version of You Didn't Try to Call Me, taken from a Montreal show in Quebec City, recorded 2 days beforehand. And then another version of Black Napkins from Toledo, and then a final outro of Purple Lagoon from that. Now, about 7-8 days after that, Bianca would be out of the band. For what reasons, I don't know. But November 20th of 1976, that band, without Bianca, played Cleveland, Ohio. That would be the first time I ever saw Frank Zappa live at Public Hall in Cleveland, which was one hell of a weird show. I don't know if I've told this story before, but Public Hall in Cleveland was just finishing up a remodel job on the inside and a sprucing up job, and all of the seats were removed from the main floor of Public Hall. So it was like general admission, standing room only, and everybody was pushing up to the front of the stage, being way too freaking close. And if you wanted to see the band, you had to be pressed up against the stage. And it got to the point in that show where people were just pushing so much together that people were starting to be knocked unconscious. Some girl fell on me, and I could tell that she could not hold herself up on her own. So I went to my friend who I was at the concert with, and I said, let's help her out. So we picked her up, dragged her out of there, and got her to a safe seat near one of the balconies. And then my friend and I watched the rest of the concert from like middle of the hall or the back of the hall, and got to actually enjoy it. So we enjoyed that show. But come on, this box set, 6 CDs of pure Zappa fantasticness. It's really enjoyable from start to end. This is one of the better box sets. This comes close to the Roxy Performances box set for one of the best. A great job by everybody at the Zappa Trust, especially Joe Travers. I can't say enough good things about this. Now, the box set itself, you got the 3 discs, and then you've got your contents. Artwork by Fantunes, which is okay. I'm not crazy about the Fantunes artwork, but it does a good job. It fills the bill. And then after that, you've got liner notes. Well, this is a picture of the tape boxes. And then you've got a picture of a tape reel itself. Liner notes by Joe, the Vaultmeister. And this picture, which is part of his personal collection, you'll read about that when you get the box yourself, or listen to the Zappa cast. You'll get more information about that as well. We also have advertisements, some notes by Dan Shell, written in 2021, a article, a concert review, and a reader's rebuttal. And that is it. That's everything. That's all you need to know, except, hey, how do I get this? Well, there's a couple of ways you can get this. When this box was first announced, people were complaining about the price of this box set. I ordered it the day it came out because it was announced as a limited edition with a poster. And when I hear the words limited edition and Frank Zappa in the same sentence, I automatically have a fear of missing out. So I ordered it immediately. And I was charged on my credit card $184.42. That's a lot of money for a 6 CD set. You're paying over $30 per disc when you factor in tax and shipping and everything else. And then later on, I get an email from Pop Market of all places, charging me a much smaller price for it. Of course, there's no limited edition poster, but I don't want the limited edition poster. I want the music, and I want the liner notes, which I got. So I canceled my order from the Zappa website and ordered it through Pop Market. And instead of paying $184.42, I paid a total shipped to my door of $125.18, a savings of almost $60, $59.24 to be exact. Now, currently, this set is running, as I tape this, for $113.23 on Amazon. If you buy it on Pop Market, it's $115.91. But if you just want the music and nothing else, you can download it on iTunes or Amazon MP3 for less than $45. And you will get a PDF of the booklet. So people complain about this. There's a lot of different factors that go into putting out a 6 CD set like this. It's not the decision of Ahmet Zappa or Joe Travers. It's got a lot to do with not only them, but also their distributing company, Universal Music. Okay? There's all sorts of factors that go into this. And also, when you buy it, when it first comes out, sometimes you're going to pay a premium. As time goes by, and you may be watching this way after the fact, the price may be a lot less. And of course, there's always those trolls out there that say, well, if you know what you're doing, you can download it for nothing. Yeah, but that's not legal, and I don't recommend that, okay? If you're going to get this music, which people have worked very, very hard to make for you, pay for it, okay? You can legitimately pay less than $50, or you can pay the regular price, which I gladly paid for, to get the 6 CD set. And you're going to be very happy to have this on your shelf. So that's more than I really want to say about that. What I want to say in summary to all of this is that Zappa Erie is a set that's well deserving of your money. It's really enjoyable. I have listened to it more than 3 times in the week or so that I've had it. And it's wonderful. If you're a Zappa fan and you really dig the period of 72 to 76 and beyond, this set is very much well worth your time. So I'm going to put on my shades and hang out with Frank and say, this is Bill. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Go listen to some Zappa and enjoy yourselves.